Hello, welcome to Dungeon Drolls Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. So today we're going to do a review for another horror movie. This time we're reviewing Freddy vs. Jason, which came out in 2003 and is directed by Ronny Yu, who's directed horror and kung fu movies. Apparently he's from Hong Kong. The movie stars Monica Keena as Laurie Campbell, Kelly Rowland from Destiny Child, which I totally forgot I've seen this chick from. But yeah, she's from Destiny's Child. As Kia Watterson, Jason Ritter's in the movie as Will Rollins. You have Ken Kirzinger as Jason Voorhees, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, Chris Margaret as Charlie Linderman, Lachlan Monroe as Deputy Scott Stubbs, Catherine Isabel as Gibb, who she was Ginger from Ginger Snaps, which if you haven't seen Ginger Snaps, that's an awesome movie. So I would check that out if you haven't seen it, and it takes place around Halloween. You have Brennan Fletcher as Mark Davis, Tom Butler as Dr. Campbell, Gary Chalk, the voice of Optimus Primal, as Sheriff Williams. And you have Brent Chapman as Blake's father. The reason I'm bringing up this guy because this actor looks just like Alex Jones. If they ever make an Alex Jones movie, they need to get Brent Chapman because he looks just like Alex Jones. Though I don't know how good of an actor he is. Also, Zach Ward is in the movie as Bobby Davis. So the movie, I should mention, we reviewed the graphic novel sequel to this movie called Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. So if you haven't, if you want to check out that review, you can find it in my Halloween month videos from 2020. Alright? So, I'm gonna switch to Omnimon. Yeah, so this movie is basically about, and I really like this scene where they give you a short origin story for Freddy. They show him as Robert Englund, right? And obviously the character Freddy Krueger was a child murderer, right? They give you a retelling of his origin story, and they show clips from the previous Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which I've only seen the remake in the first two films. I haven't seen Dream Warriors and the other ones. Though I hear they're really good. I need to watch them, right? And yeah, so the movie is about basically Freddy. People forgot about Freddy, and because people on Elm Street has forgotten about him, because the town of the town where Elm Street is, they cover up Freddy because if people forget Freddy, oh my god, you can barely see Omnimon. Oh shit. Well, you can barely see him on screen. Which took me a long time to get Omnimon, right? So Freddy's weak. People don't remember him. So he decides to get people to he decides to resurrect Jason from hell and unleash him on Elm Street. He goes into his dreams and pretends to be Jason's mother, which I think they got the original actress to do it, right? And I could be wrong though. It looked like her, but it's it had been 20 years. So Jason starts killing kids again, and the kid characters in the movie are supposed to be high school students, but everybody looks like they're in their mid to late 20s. And they're supposed to be high school kids, right? It's oh my god, right? That was cringe to me, right? Seeing these 20-something-year-olds play teenagers, right? And yeah, so like basically, you have the one girl who's like the virgin, whose dad may or may not have killed her mom, right? And her boyfriend saw it, was sent to the psychiatric hospital where everybody who had encounters with Freddy are there to take these like pills, which makes it so you can't dream anymore, which becomes a crucial plot point later on in the film. So basically, what happens in the film is that Jason does his job right, but Jason does his job right, but like Jason does his job too good because he starts cock blocking Freddy, and this pisses him off. Freddy tries to kill Jason, which there's two fights in this movie with Freddy versus Jason, right? The first fight, Freddy goes into Jason's dreams. Freddy possesses like the stoner kid, right? Which that scene, like straight up, like was like almost out of like a fucking scary movie parody. Which they have the one of the stars from Scary Movie as the cop in this film, who helps the teenagers, right? Doesn't last long though. Right, so like what happens is basically like the kids take Jason to Camp Crystal Lake, and they come up with a plan to bring Freddy back into the real world so Jason can kill Freddy, right? And the lots of cool kills in the film, though there's some really bad CGI, right? And though it was like 2003, but the CGI in the film, it's like holy fuck, it's like 90s like level CGI, but there's not a lot of it. There's some cool practical effects, great great kills. The fight scenes with Freddy and Jason are pretty badass, and they have this like rock song that plays. This like early 2000s like fucking rock song that looks like it belongs into a fucking video game. Oh, which the fucking soundtrack for this movie was amazing. This movie is basically, I would say don't take it too serious as a horror movie. It's just like this movie is like just a fun movie to watch with people, right? And I actually, the first time I watched this movie was I was a kid. In Canada, we have Thanksgiving around October, right? And we used to have this tradition at my like uncle's house where me and the other cousins would go in the basement and watch horror movies, right? While the parents would like talk and like they would get the Thanksgiving dinner ready, right? We would watch horror movies, and one of my favorite horror movies that we watched was Freddy vs. Jason. It's just a fucking badass, awesome film, and there's like funny scenes in the movie, right? Like there's this scene where like Jason crashes like a fucking rave in this like fucking crop circle, right? And like he kills. There's this like fat guy who hangs out with the jocks who bullies like one of the nerdy kids in the movie, right? And like his friend gets killed, and the fat guy just like takes the beer, like douses Jason, and like with a tiki torch lights him on fire, and you just have Jason on fire with his machete also on fire, just chopping kids down. And you have this one dude's like, "Hey man, that was my brother," and he just kills him too. It was like just some random character. It's like, "Hey man, you killed my brother, asshole." Oh, it was fucking amazing. I don't know, I love this movie. I think, though, like I gotta say, like one of the major problems with the film is the bad CGI, and then the fact that they should have had these characters be not college kids, not high school kids, because nobody like these actors do not like. I do not buy them as like Oh, I learned Gigafire. I do not buy them as like high school kids at all, man. They should have aged them up to like college level. And like the movie gets schlocky at times, but also you can play like a drinking game for every time like Freddy says bitch in the film, right? Which is a lot. But I don't know. I thought Freddy's lines in the movie were fine. I thought Robert Englund did a great job, right? There was something about the Freddy character doesn't make a lot of sense to me, where he's like he was a child murderer when he was alive, and when he's undead, he's going after like high school kids, right? I kind of don't get. I mean, I get it from like a director, like uh, because like you can having like child murder, murder slasher, uh, it's pretty tough sale. And then people also want to see titties, right, in these movies. So yeah, you have to have the older victims, but it's like what the fuck. But it is like like. What was up with Freddy, man? Like I don't know, man. So like, I did find it funny when the Destiny's Child chick, Freddy's goes to kill the virgin chick, and like the Destiny's Child chick is like her best friend, and she's like, "Hey, Freddy, come over here," and then she starts insulting him, calls him the F slur. It's like, why the fuck do you wear like a Christmas sweater all year, you F slur? She calls him like the F slur. It's like, oh my god, you just called Freddy he's about to kill you, right? Maybe not a good idea to try to call him the F slur. Which she wasn't even killed by Freddy. It's like Jason was right behind her and like kills Jason. Which like Jason was getting help from the kids, but he does not give a fuck. He just kills everybody. Which I kind of liked his like how they shaped his head in the film, because they made it look more like he did, like they made it like the way his head was shaped. They made it look just like he was in the first film. Though in the first film, the first film and the second film, where you see him as a kid, right? They got the shape of his head right, and the fact that one of his eyes is like lower than the other. But like one thing they got like when they showed like Jason as a kid again, they got like a fat kid, and in the original movie he was like a skinny kid, right? But it's like I don't know, that's just a little nitpick. Overall, I thought the movie is great, and I'm giving like a 7 out of 10. This is a great movie to watch with friends, right? Yeah. Also, I wanted to talk about the I wanted to talk about the Alec Baldwin thing. For people who don't know, Alec Baldwin on a set of some movie, I think it's for Netflix. It's like a Western, and he's like the producer, and he stars in the film, right? Alec Baldwin with a prop gun. Well, the movie's called Rust, by the way. It's like a Western. He with a prop gun, he shot the director and fatally wounded the cinematographer, right? And people are like giving him a lot of flack for it, like saying, well, why? Like people were giving dumb takes, like why do we even use real guns on the set of movies? And like it's like, why was he even pointing at the actors? People don't understand. Hey, if somebody, first off, that's the prop master's job. If it's anybody's fault for those people getting killed, unless there was some like shady shit going on, right? It's the prop master's job to make sure the prop guns are clean, so you don't have this shit happen like it did. The first time that I've ever heard this thing ever happen was in the set of The Crow. That's how Brendan Lee died, because if you don't, every time they fire the prop guns, metal shavings from the blanks sometimes will um, form a ball, and that's what killed Brandon Lee, because the the blast from the blanks sent the metal ball shaving from the shavings from the blanks at Brandon Lee, and that's how he died. So I think the fact that that happened twice though in this is kind of weird, because you're telling me there was enough debris from all the blanks that where he could shot twice. That to me sounds weird, but if it that to me sounds kind of sus. But other than that, it would have been the prop master's responsibility to make sure the prop guns were clean. And second, the reason why the director and the cinematographer what could have been one of the reasons why they could have been shot is because they were probably doing a close up of Baldwin shooting the gun, and they were probably behind the camera, and that's probably why they were in the line of fire, because they were doing a close up of him shooting the gun, right? So I don't know. That's my take on it. But the fact that there was enough debris from this prop gun to shoot two projectiles, that is a little suspect. But overall, it would have been the prop master's responsibility. It's not Alex Baldwin's fault, unless the cops who are investigating this find some bullshit. Yeah, but overall, that's all I can say for this movie. Let me know what kind of movie you guys want me to review next. Preferably, if you can pick something off Tubi, that would be great. Or I could review Ginger Snaps again. Which it's been a few years since I watched Ginger Snaps. If people haven't seen Ginger Snaps, it's like a Canadian horror film. Or at least it was shot in Canada, like this movie obviously was, with all the Canadian TV actors in the movie, right? Where it's basically you have these Ginger Snaps is about this movie about these two sisters, right? These two sisters, and one of them gets attacked by a werewolf. Well, at the time it looked like a wolf, a normal wolf, right? And Ginger, who's going through puberty, right? They're supposed to be teenagers, and starts going through changes, and they think it's just puberty, but it's obviously she's slowly turning into a werewolf, right? Yeah. So it's a really cool movie, right? If you haven't seen Ginger Snaps. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I have to say for this Freddy vs. Jason movie. I think it's really good. If I kind of don't get the 5.7 rating on IMDb. It's like a schlocky, fun horror movie, man. It's not supposed to be taken serious. As if you can take a lot of these slasher movies seriously. Oh well, that's all I